Hey everyone, Elizabeth here. The Last Laugh delivers stories that leave you speechless. If you're here for it, hit subscribe and let's go. The text came at 11:47 p.m., the night before my sister's wedding. Hey Claire, so there's been a tiny issue with the seating chart. Guest list got a bit out of control lol. Would you be okay watching the ceremony from outside? You can see everything through the windows and come to the reception after. Just for a few hours. Thanks sis Redheart. I stared at my phone for a full minute, reading it 3 times to make sure I understood correctly. I was being uninvited to my sister's wedding. The wedding I had paid for. All $100,000 of it. My finger hovered over the call button, but I didn't press it. Instead, I got out of bed, walked to my desk, and pulled out the folder I'd been keeping for the past 8 months. Every contract, every receipt, every invoice. All in my name. All signed by me. Venue deposit, $15,000. My signature, my credit card. Catering contract for 200 guests, $32,000. My signature, my bank account. Photography and videography, $12,000. My name on the agreement. Florist, $8,500. My signature. Band, $9,000. My signature. Wedding planner, $11,000. My signature. Dress and alterations, $6,800. My credit card. The list went on. Invitations, rentals, transportation, hotel blocks, cake, bar service. Every single vendor contract had my name on it. Because 8 months ago, my sister Natalie had come to me crying. Claire, Brandon's parents backed out of helping with the wedding. They said we're being too extravagant. But I've dreamed about this day my entire life. I can't scale back now. Everyone's already seen the save the dates. How much do you need? I'd asked, even though I knew I shouldn't. If I could just borrow $50,000, we could make it work with what we've saved. Natalie, you don't have any savings. You spent it on the engagement party. She'd cried harder. I know I'm a mess with money. But this is my wedding, Claire. My one wedding. You're so successful, and you don't have kids or a partner or... I mean, what else are you spending money on? That had stung, but I'd ignored it. Let me look at the budget. The budget had been a disaster. She wanted a 200-person wedding at a luxury vineyard 2 hours from the city, with a band, premium open bar, elaborate florals, and a dress that cost more than my first car. I'll help, I'd said, but I need to be on the contracts. To protect us both. Of course. God, Claire, you're saving my life. I'll pay you back. Once Brandon makes partner at his firm, we'll pay you back everything. Brandon was a third-year associate at a mid-size law firm. Partnership was at least 7 years away, if it happened at all. But I'd nodded and started signing contracts. That was 8 months ago. Since then, I'd paid every invoice, managed every vendor, answered every crisis call. When the florist needed to increase the order by $1,200, I'd paid it. When Natalie decided she hated the original invitations and needed new ones printed, I'd paid the $950. My role had evolved from sister to ATM machine. Natalie stopped asking and started expecting. And I'd let her, because she was my little sister, and this was her wedding, and I wanted her to be happy. But apparently, happy Natalie didn't include me in the actual ceremony. I texted back, I paid for your entire wedding. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then appeared again. I know. And I'm so grateful. But you understand, right? Brandon's family is huge, and his mom is being difficult about the cousins, and we're just so squeezed. It's not personal. You're uninviting me from the wedding I paid $100,000 for. Not uninviting. You can still watch. And you'll be at the reception. It's just the ceremony that's tight. Please don't make this difficult. I'm getting married tomorrow. Can you just be supportive? I looked at the folder on my desk. Every contract. Every signature. All mine. I started typing a long message about boundaries and respect and basic human decency. Then I deleted it. Instead, I typed, okay. Have a beautiful day. OMG, thank you. I knew you'd understand. Love you. I didn't respond. At 12:30 a.m., I started making calls. It took until 4 a.m. to reach everyone I needed to reach. Some vendors had emergency lines. Others I left detailed voicemails. A few I had to email and hope they checked before morning. My message was simple, this is Claire Chen. I'm the contract holder and primary payer for the Natalie Chen/Brandon Walsh wedding scheduled for tomorrow, October 14th. I'm withdrawing my authorization for all services. Please cancel my contracts effective immediately. I'll handle any cancellation fees per our agreements. The cancellation fees would hurt. The venue alone was $7,500 non-refundable. But I'd paid $100,000 to be erased from my own sister's wedding. What was another $15,000 to set a boundary? At 4:30 a.m., I packed a bag. At 5 a.m., I got in my car and started driving north. I didn't have a destination. I just needed to be far away when everything fell apart. My phone started ringing at 6:04 a.m. I didn't answer. It rang 16 more times in the next hour. Natalie, Mom, Brandon, numbers I didn't recognize. I turned it on silent and kept driving. At 8:47 a.m., I finally pulled over at a rest stop and checked my voicemail. The first one was from Kayla, the wedding planner, at 6:08 a.m. Claire, this is Kayla. I just got your message from last night and I need you to call me immediately. The venue called me at 6 saying you cancelled. Then the caterer. Then the florist. Claire, the wedding is in 7 hours. Guests are flying in right now. I need you to call me back now and tell me this is a mistake. The second was from Natalie at 6:15 a.m. Claire. Kayla just called me. What the fuck did you do? Call me right now. The third was from my mother at 6:22 a.m. Claire Elizabeth Chen, you call your sister right now. I don't know what's going on, but you fix this. That girl is hysterical. The fourth was from Kayla again at 6:31 a.m. Claire, I've been trying to salvage this. The venue says they can't proceed without your signature since you're the primary contract holder. Same with the caterer. The florist already cancelled and is keeping the deposit. The band is asking for payment in full before they'll perform, but they can't process it without your authorization. Claire, I have 200 guests arriving in hours for a wedding that might not happen. Please call me. Fifth message, Brandon at 6:45 a.m. Claire, it's Brandon. Look, I don't know what happened between you and Natalie, but can we please talk about this? We have family flying in from across the country. She's not doing well. Whatever you're upset about, we can work it out. Please just call us back. Sixth, Natalie at 7:02 a.m. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Is that what you want to hear? I shouldn't have texted that. It was stupid. I was stressed and not thinking. Please, Claire. Please don't do this. This is my wedding day. My wedding day. You're ruining it. The messages continued. 23 total. Each one more desperate than the last. I sat in my car at that rest stop, drinking bad coffee, and listened to all of them. Then I called Kayla back. Claire. Oh, thank God. Hi, Kayla. I got your messages. Claire, what's happening? I've been in wedding planning for 12 years, and I've never had every single vendor cancel the morning of the event. The venue says they need your signature to proceed. The caterer won't deliver without your authorization. I've spent 2 hours trying to fix this, but everything traces back to you. That's because I'm on all the contracts. I know. Which is why I need you to call these vendors and reinstate everything. Claire, there are 200 people. Kayla, did my sister tell you what she texted me last night? Silence. She uninvited me from the wedding. Told me I could watch through the windows. At the wedding I paid for. More silence. She what? Kayla's voice had changed. I paid for everything. $100,000. Every vendor, every detail. And the night before, she decided I was taking up too much space. Claire, Kayla's voice softened. I didn't know that. I don't expect you to fix this. You were doing your job. But I'm not signing anything or authorizing anything. The contracts are cancelled. What about the guests? The family flying in? That's not my problem anymore. I was told I wasn't important enough to attend. So I'm not attending. Claire, I understand you're hurt. Do you? Have you ever paid 6 figures for an event and then been told you're not welcome? She didn't answer. I need to go, I said. I'm sorry your day got complicated. I'm sure Natalie will explain to the guests what happened. I hung up. 3 minutes later, my mom called. Claire, I just spoke with Kayla. She told me what Natalie did. Did she? Claire, that was cruel of your sister. Unforgivably cruel. But there are 200 people on their way to this wedding. Aunts and uncles who spent thousands on flights. Brandon's grandmother who's 93 and might not get another chance. None of that is my responsibility, Mom. You're going to ruin your sister's life over one stupid text message? I'm setting a boundary. There's a difference. By destroying her wedding day. I paid for a wedding where I was apparently so unimportant that I could watch through a window like a stranger. I withdrew funding for that wedding. She's welcome to fund it herself. She doesn't have that kind of money. Then maybe she shouldn't have planned a $100,000 wedding. Claire, Mom, where were you 8 months ago when I was paying for everything? When Natalie called me crying every other week about some wedding emergency that I needed to fix? Where were you when she upgraded the bar package and the dress and the flowers, and I paid for all of it? I didn't know it was that much. Because nobody asked. Everyone just assumed I'd handle it. Because I don't have kids or a husband, so what else would I do with my money except give it to Natalie? That's not fair. What's not fair is working my entire life to build a successful career. Saving my money, making careful choices, and then being treated like a walking checkbook. What's not fair is being uninvited to an event I fully funded. What's not fair is everyone calling me now to fix this instead of calling Natalie to ask why she thought that text was acceptable. My mother was quiet. Is she sorry? I asked. Actually sorry, not just sorry she got caught? She's devastated. That's not the same thing. Claire, please. I'm begging you. I know she was wrong. I'll talk to her. I'll make sure she apologizes properly. But please don't let 200 people suffer for her mistake. I'm not making anyone suffer. I'm just not funding an event I'm not welcome at. That's reasonable. There has to be a compromise. There was. She could have not sent that text. She could have remembered that I paid for everything. She could have treated me with basic respect. Those were all compromises she could have made. She chose not to. So that's it? You're just done with your sister? No. I'm done being her ATM. There's a difference. I hung up. My phone rang continuously for the next 3 hours. I stopped checking after the 47th call. At 2 p.m., when the ceremony should have been starting, I checked social media. Nothing from Natalie. But several confused guests had posted, "Anyone know what's happening with the Chen Walsh wedding? Got to the venue and it's locked. Drove 6 hours for this wedding and the venue says it's cancelled? No one is answering phones. Is the Chen wedding happening or not? We're all standing in the parking lot." At 3:30 p.m., Natalie finally posted, "Due to unforeseen circumstances, today's wedding has been postponed. We apologize to everyone who traveled. We'll be in touch about a new date. Thank you for understanding." Unforeseen circumstances. Like texting your ATM sister that she could watch her own funded wedding through a window. The comments filled with confused well wishes and questions. No one knew what happened. Natalie wasn't telling them. At 7 p.m., I got a text from my Aunt Linda. "Claire, your mother told me what happened. I'm disgusted with Natalie. That was appalling. Are you okay?" Then my Uncle Robert, "Just heard the full story from Linda. Good for you for standing up for yourself. That took guts." Then my cousin Michelle, "Holy shit, Claire. I can't believe Natalie did that. I'm so sorry." Apparently, someone had told the truth. And it was spreading. By 10 p.m., my phone had 73 missed calls, 62 text messages, and 15 voicemails. Most were from family members who heard what happened and were either supportive or demanding I fix it. The ratio was about 50-50. Natalie's camp, "How could you ruin her special day over your hurt feelings?" My camp, "She had it coming. Good for you." I didn't respond to any of them. 3 days later, I drove home. My apartment building lobby felt like a sanctuary after 3 days in hotels. But when I got to my door, Natalie was sitting in the hallway, still wearing her engagement ring, eyes swollen from crying. "Claire." I unlocked my door without acknowledging her. "Please. Can we talk?" "No. Claire, please. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." I walked inside. She followed before I could close the door. "You need to leave," I said. "Not until you listen to me." Her voice cracked. "Claire, I lost everything. The venue kept the deposit. The caterer kept their fee. The florist kept everything. The band charged us a cancellation fee. Do you know how much money we lost? 15,000, give or take. I lost it too. Cancellation fees on my contracts. 15, her face went pale. Claire, we can't afford that. Brandon and I have $3,000 in our account total. We were counting on wedding gifts to cover our honeymoon. That's not my problem. But it is. You caused this. No. You caused this when you uninvited me from my own funded wedding. I didn't uninvite you. I just asked you to watch the ceremony from outside. Do you hear yourself? You asked me to stand outside in the cold and watch through a window while 200 other people sat comfortably inside. At the wedding I paid $100,000 for. I was stressed. The guest list was out of control. Brandon's mother was being impossible about seating, so you sacrificed me. The person who paid for everything. That was your solution. I thought you'd understand. Tears streamed down her face. You don't have kids or a wedding or. I thought you'd get it. You thought I'd understand being erased from an event I funded because I'm single and childless? That's your defense? That's not what I meant. It's exactly what you meant. You've thought it for years. That my life is less important because I chose career over family. That my money is expendable because I don't have kids to spend it on. That I should just be grateful to help because what else would I do? Claire, you know what the worst part is? I would have helped you even without the wedding. If you'd come to me and said, "Claire, I can't afford my dream wedding, can you help?" I would have helped. Not $100,000, but something. Because you're my sister. But you didn't ask me to help. You expected it. You demanded it. And then you decided I wasn't even important enough to attend. Natalie crumpled onto my couch, sobbing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was awful. You're right about everything. I took advantage of you. I was selfish and cruel and I'm sorry. I sat down across from her. Do you know why I put my name on all those contracts? She shook her head. Because I knew you couldn't afford this wedding. I knew if something went wrong, you'd have no way to pay. So I made sure I had control. Just in case. In case of what? In case you proved that my money was more important to you than I was. Her face crumpled again. You know what you didn't ask me once in 8 months? I continued. You didn't ask how I was doing. Not once. Every call was about the wedding. Every text was about vendors or decisions or problems. You never asked about my job, my life, my health. Nothing. I was just your funding source. That's not true. Name one thing about my life right now that you know. One thing that doesn't involve you. She opened her mouth. Closed it. I don't. Exactly. We sat in silence. I got promoted, I said quietly. 6 weeks ago. VP of Operations. $320,000 salary plus equity. It's the biggest achievement of my career. Claire, that's. You didn't know. Because you didn't ask. You called me 4 times that week, and every call was about whether the band should play jazz or swing. Not once did you ask how I was. Fresh tears spilled down her face. I'm a terrible sister. You're a sister who took me for granted. Can you ever forgive me? I don't know. Ask me in a year. A year? Yeah. A year of you not asking me for money. Not asking me to solve your problems. Not treating me like a resource. Show me that you value me as a person, not a bank account. Then we'll talk. What about the wedding? What about it? We still want to get married. But we can't afford. Not my problem, Natalie. But all that money you already spent is gone. Cancellation fees, deposits, all of it. I took the loss. It's done. Can't we use some of the paid contracts? The ones that didn't fully cancel. Those contracts are in my name and cancelled. You want a wedding, you plan it and fund it yourself. But we can't afford anything. Then have a courthouse wedding. Or a backyard party. Or wait until you save up. Those are your options. My checkbook is closed. She stared at me like I'd spoken another language. You'd really make us have a courthouse wedding after we planned this huge event? I'd really let you experience what happens when you treat people badly. Yes. But everyone already traveled once. They'll be so confused if we have some tiny wedding. Then explain to them what happened. Tell them you uninvited your funding sister and she withdrew support. See what they say. Her face went white. I can't tell people that. Why not? It's the truth. Because they'll think I'm awful. You were awful. That's the consequence. She stood up, anger replacing tears. Fine. Fine. We'll have a courthouse wedding. We'll tell everyone we wanted something intimate. And when people ask why, I'll tell them my sister abandoned me. Go ahead. But you should know that about 30 family members already know the truth. Aunt Linda, Uncle Robert, Michelle. They're telling people. So your story won't hold up long. Her face drained of color. What did you tell them? Nothing. I didn't have to. Mom told Aunt Linda. Linda told everyone else. The truth spreads fast. Mom wouldn't. She did. Because even she thinks what you did was indefensible. Natalie grabbed her purse, hands shaking. I came here to apologize and make things right. But you don't want that. You just want to punish me. I want you to understand that actions have consequences. That people aren't ATMs. That respect matters. I said I was sorry. You said it after losing everything. That's not sorry. That's regret. There's a difference. She walked to the door, then turned back. You know what? Everyone was right about you. You are cold. You care more about your money than your own family. If that were true, I would have never helped you in the first place. She slammed the door on her way out. That was 6 weeks ago. Natalie got married at City Hall 2 weeks later. 12 people attended. She posted one photo on social media, her and Brandon on the courthouse steps, both forcing smiles. The comments were full of confused friends asking what happened to the big wedding. She never answered them. My mother calls once a week now, trying to mediate. I take the calls, but I don't budge. Natalie hasn't apologized again. Hasn't reached out except to ask, through Mom, if I'd reconsider helping with their honeymoon fund. I said no. Half the family thinks I'm a hero. Half thinks I'm vindictive. I'm okay with both. Because here's what I learned, boundaries aren't cruel. They're necessary. Especially with family who mistake your generosity for weakness. I spent $100,000 trying to give my sister her dream day. She thanked me by erasing me from it. So I erased my funding from her. That's not punishment. That's just math. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is let someone face the natural consequences of their choices. Even if that someone is your sister. Even if the consequence is a cancelled wedding. Even if everyone thinks you're the villain. Because at the end of the day, I'm not her villain or her hero. I'm just done being her ATM. Have you ever been taken for granted by family? How did you set boundaries? Share your story below.